for the possible introduction of vertical farming technology military reservation areas. We are initially targeting to introduce vertical farming here at Fort Bonifacio. As you can see, we have a 100-hectare retention area in Fort Bonifacio, and part of that, we are going to introduce the vertical farming method. Of course, the target is to supply vegetables for the occupants of Fort Bonifacio initially. Large-scale automated high-tech farming at 3 of our biggest camps, Camp O'Donnell in Tarlac, Fort 𝐒𝐢𝐲𝐳 in Nueva Ecija, and Camp Quibaritan in Bukidnon. As such, we also would like to thank Mr. Paulo Delgado of Delbros for rehabilitating our greenhouse. As you can see on your right, there's a new set of automated water system for the greenhouse, which can be controlled either through the internet or manually when needed. Through the generous effort and support of our stakeholders, this joint project we are doing today shall serve as a sustainable, climate-smart agriculture initiative, which shall enhance our nation's climate resiliency, reduce our greenhouse gas emissions, and increase our food productivity. Thus, I am honored to join everyone to support our cause for a sustainable growth path for our country, while at the same time helping our only Earth breathe. Again, I welcome you all to this launching activity of our raising of 1 million fruit-bearing trees project with signing of a memorandum of partnership. Thank you and mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Well, thank you very much to Colonel Victor M. Lapitan, the G7 of the Philippine Army. Well, from here, we shall witness the signing of the Memorandum of Partnership between the Philippine Army and the Department of Agriculture. Would like to request our Chief of Staff, Philippine Army, Major General Potenciano C. Cambasser, and Senior Undersecretary Domingo F. Panganiban, Department of Agriculture, for the contract signing. Would like to request our witnesses to kindly stand and proceed behind our primaries in front.
Recording in progress.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A round of applause for the Philippine Army and the Department of Agriculture. So meantime, can we have a photo opportunity? So we'll have the photo opportunity holding the signed contract.
Dito na lang kayo sa taas, Sheng. Pag-abot nila Major Dagpin.
Once again, a round of applause for the Philippine Army and the Department of Agriculture. Well, thank you, sirs and ma'ams. Well, at this juncture, we'll hear the message of the Commanding General of Philippine Army, who is now ably represented by the Chief of Staff, Philippine Army, Major General Potenciano C. Camba.
To everyone, good morning po. Naimbag nga bigat to the north. Marhay na aga sa Bicolandia. Mayong buntag sa tanan to the south. To God be the glory. God is good at nagtipon-tipon tayo ngayon lahat para itong very significant and very relevant activity of raising 1 million fruit-bearing trees. Before I proceed further, let me especially greet our very important partners for today's activity. Of course, we are graced by the presence of the Senior Undersecretary of the Department of Agriculture, Secretary Domingo Panganiban, sir. Palakpakan po natin si sir. Sir, maraming salamat po mula sa aming kabuuang kasundaluhan from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Maraming salamat po, sir. Alam niyo po, sir, doon sa aming mga subordinate units, usual na po namin, sir, na partner ang Department of Agriculture. From the division to the brigades to the battalions and to our companies. Talagang very supportive ang Department of Agriculture in our community development initiative sa aming mga deployment area, sir. So palakpakan po natin ang Department of Agriculture. May I also acknowledge the manager, CEO of the land holdings of the Philippine Army, the commander of the Installation Management Command, Brigadier General 𝐒𝐢𝐬 𝐵𝐵. Sir. Sir, ang Philippine Army po ang pinakamalawak na land holdings sa buong Pilipinas. Summing up to more than 100,000 hectares. Malawak, sir, ang land holdings ng Philippine Army, and we are inviting partners for joint venture in our military reservation, sir. We also have our commander of Fort Bonifacio, the commander of Headquarters Support Group, Brigadier General Moises Naiber, represented by Colonel Rufi. Thank you, Mr. Other distinguished guests from the Department of Agriculture, our Director Ruel Gismundo. Sir, maraming salamat. Attorney Demosthenes Escoto, sir. Thank you, sir. Dr. Gina Nilo, ma'am. Marami pong salamat. Engineer Remelin Ricoter, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Also from the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, Engineer Ignacio Almiras Jr., sir. Salamat, sir. Sir, partner din namin madalas ang DNR sa aming greening program. From the division to the brigade to the battalions and to our companies. Marami pong salamat, sir, sa inyong suporta. We are also joined by our civilian and private stakeholders. We have here Mr. Jose Paulo Delgado from the Delbros Brothers. Maraming salamat sir sa inyong suporta. We see the greenhouse to my left. Sila po ang nagpagawa niyan as part of our partnership with them to have vertical urban gardening. We also have Mr. Nicolas Manalo. Thank you, sir. We also have Mr. Simon Villalon from Good Greens. Maraming salamat, sir. We also have Miss Eileen Rufin. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. We also have Miss Giselle Raz. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Our wind beneath our wings in the Philippine Army, ang aming mga officers, ladies clubs here, represented by their president, Ma'am Eileen Espina. Thank you, ma'am. I would like also to especially acknowledge, sir, the representative of our commanding general who is in mission in Washington for this very important mission to upgrade the capabilities of the Army. But anyway, sir, he is represented by his daughter, Ma'am 𝐋𝐢𝐯𝐞 Browner. Thank you, ma'am. At nandito kayo. At saka yung kanyang lola. Ma'am, marami pong salamat. Please stand to be recognized. Marami pong salamat, ma'am. Of course, our Army Chief Chaplain, Colonel Roy Ungao. Thank you, Father Roy. Members of our staff, general staff, special staff, and the personal staff of the headquarters Philippine Army, PAMO commanders, major unit commanders of the Philippine Army from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, and our soldiers. Other partners, friends from the media, mga kababayan, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. So to God be the glory. We are here to protect and preserve the creation of God by planting million trees, not only fruit-bearing trees, but as I've said, libo-libo na sir yung naitanim namin sa aming mga kampo nationwide na hindi lang fruit-bearing trees. As you notice, sir, siguro dito sa Taguig, Metro Manila, Fort Bonifacio is the greenest community. Marami kaming puno dito, sir. Kaya we in the Army, we really value our environment. So as the saying by Miss Lucy Larcom, he who plants a tree plants a hope. It is an inspiration for us in the Philippine Army to pursue this activity, sir. Since our organization's foundation 126 years ago, we have remained a strong, united, and reliable partner of the Philippine government in bringing hope to our communities across the country. As servant soldiers, we persevere to be the paragon of change. We have exemplified this commitment through our focus, military operations, community development, and initiatives to increase productivity in the countryside and empower our people. With the support, of course, of our various stakeholders, lalong-lalo na po ang very generous Department of Agriculture na matagal ng partner ng Philippine Army. Maraming salamat po, sir. Indeed, there is no place like home. Therefore, we must safeguard, protect, and preserve our environment to make it a better home and a better place. we shall continue to have this inspiration of serving our people by protecting and preserving our environment. As we continue to attain greater heights and milestones, we must take care not only of the Filipino people, but again to our environment. Today, the planting of 1 million fruit-bearing trees serves as a reminder that more than the protection of our environment, we are also ensuring a brighter future for our next generation. Through this indispensable initiative, the Philippine Army is and will aggressively support the food security program and the national greening program of the national government. To the men and women of the Philippine Army, I urge everyone to be an example and prime mover to make our camps and our communities greener and more productive so that we can contribute to the food security program and national greening program of the national government. Sana ang mga itatanim nating puno ay magbunga para masigurado ang food on the table, pagkain sa lamesa ng bawat sundalo at saka hindi lang sa kasundaluhan, pati na rin ang ating mga kababayang Pilipino at makatulong tayo sa umiigting na problema sa food security globally. So sa atin pong lahat, mga minamahal kong mga kasundaluhan at saka sa ating mga partners, in behalf of our Commanding General, Lieutenant General Romeo S. Browner Jr., kami po ay taus-pusong nagpapasalamat sa Department of Agriculture at saka sa Department of Environment and Natural Resources for your support to the Army and to our Philippine Army personnel. Let's take this initiative to support the program of the national government in ensuring food on the table para sa ating next generation. Mabuhay po ang Philippine Army, mabuhay po ang partnership na nilagdaan natin with Secretary Domingo Panganiban. Sana po itong memorandum of partnership will further strengthen our efforts to plant more nationwide for the wealth of our people, for the wealth of our country. Marami pong salamat. Mabuhay Philippine Army, mabuhay Department of Agriculture. Mahalin natin ang Pilipinas. God bless the Philippines.
Well, thank you very much, Third Chief of Staff, sir. Well, at this point, we'll now hear the message of Senior Undersecretary Domingo F. Panganiban, Department of Agriculture.
Well, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Ako po'y nagpapasalamat kay General Potenciano Camba, Chief of Staff ng Philippine Army, kay General Neibe, Commander 𝐻𝐸𝐬, Philippine Army, kay Colonel Victor Lapitan, AC of S, o CMO, G7 Philippine Army, ang aking kasamahan sa Department of Agriculture, hindi ko nababanggitin pa ang mga pangalan. Magandang umaga sa inyo. Kaya din sa ating mga kasamahan sa Department of Environment and Natural Resources, sa ating mga kasamahan sa media, mga opisyal ng Philippine Army, at iba pang mga kasamahan na nagbigay ng pagtatanim ng 1 milyong punong kahoy na ating pinasimulan sa pagpirma ng Memorandum of Understanding. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Allow me to begin by extending my gratitude to General Romeo Browner Jr., Colonel Victor Lapitan, and the men and women of the Philippine Army for inviting me to participate in today's ceremony, and more importantly, to Colonel Kamba, Chief of Staff of the Philippine Army, for this on this occasion. I am pleased to be here, and thank you for the warm welcome. I can imagine how discussions concerning policies on national security and national defense may sometimes seem far removed from grassroots issues. Today, our men and women in uniform, not only in the Philippine Army, but in all branches of the Philippine military, will literally be looking at the grassroots as a primordial entirety to plant a tree. The Memorandum of Partnership, which is the subject of today's signing ceremony, establishes a unique collaboration between the Philippine Army and the Department of Agriculture. The partnership provides for the planting of 1 million fruit trees over the next 5 years, a joint endeavor that will increase national food security, improve our natural environment, and promote the creation of livelihood opportunities for countless farmers and aquaculture entrepreneurs across the archipelago. In our daily lives, and in the end, and the course of conducting our duties as professionals in public service, we will all need regular reminders of our connection with nature and our planet. The act is fundamental. The vigor of our natural resources or our natural environment is essential to our health and well-being and to our future. Trees are an important part of that ecology. There is little doubt within our lifetime, the nation's need for trees will become a matter of serious concern. Forests covered some 70% of our countries, of the countries at the beginning of the previous century, but it's only around 20% remain standing today. In fact, some research indicate that we lost around 10 million hectares of forest between 1934 to 1988 alone. The economic and environmental implications of this much destruction of the natural environment over the course of so little time are very enormous. Trees are an indispensable component of our efforts to keep our climate and get along with what we have, albeit with increasing leadership hardship. But we can almost be certain that the very young and those who are now in full manhood and womanhood will one day be in dire need of what nature once so bountifully supplied. Because of that need, future generations will censure the generations alive today, and not for what we have used, but for all that we have misused. The partnership we are formalizing today is the first step towards correcting the errors of the past. I believe our endeavor is a fitting embodiment of the far-reaching values not only of the Philippine Army, but also of our nation as a whole. I likewise believe that this is the way, with vigorous national leadership, vision, and above all, with the active participation of the Filipino people, that we will at last succeed in restoring the kind of environment we want for ourselves and for our future generation. This task is ours today, together, young and old, and across all sectors of Filipino society. It calls upon us to wield our energies, cooperation, and our principles in a cause that is as fundamental as life itself. And on this end, I think the President has truly said that Philippine agriculture is a thing of the future. To this end, I will say thank you very much and hope that we shall be able to fulfill what the Philippine Army has wanted to prepare 1 million trees within a year or two. Thank you very much and a pleasant good morning.
Well, thank you very much, sir, for your words. Well, at this time, a command plaque and mementos will be presented. We'll have first for the Department of Agriculture. Would like to request our Chief of Staff, assisted by our G7, to present the command plaque and the memento. Well, a command plaque is presented to Department of Agriculture in grateful recognition for the innumerable support to the Philippine Army and its development support efforts. Given this 9th of March 2023 at HPA, signed by the Commanding General of the Philippine Army, Lieutenant General Romeo S. Marno Jr., Philippine Army. Well, of course, a memento, a wine will be presented. Well, of course, we'll be presenting also a memento to other guests. Well, same memento will be presented to Director Gerald Glenn F. Panganiban. Same memento to be presented to Attorney Demosthenes Escoto. Same will be presented to Dr. Gina Nilo. Well, we have also for Engineer Remlin Ricoter. Thank you, ma'am. Well, this time for Mr. Jose Paulo Delgado of Delbros Group, the president of Delbros Group. Well, thank you very much to our Chief of Staff, sir. Well, I would like to request everyone to settle down. Well, from here, may we have your attention on the screens for an audiovisual presentation on how to plant a tree.
How to plant a tree. Step 1. Remove the tree from its container and place the root ball in the hole, ensuring that the top of the root ball is at soil level. Step 2. Fill the hole until the soil line is just at the base of the plant and even with the surrounding soil surface. Step 3. Gently tamp the soil around the tree to remove air pockets. Step 4. Water the tree well and add 2-inch or 5-centimeter layer of mulch, such as shredded bark around the planting area. Continue to water regularly the first 3 years after planting until the plant is well established.
Well, at this time to demo to us on how to plant a tree, we have from the Department of Agriculture, Mr. Christopher S. Cruz, Agriculturist 2.
Umaga po sa ating lahat, sa lahat po ng mga public servant at sa mga Mother Nature servant. Magandang umaga po. So ako po ay magde-demo kung paano po natin maaalis yung plastic po. Yung kanina sa unang step ay remove the container. So una, so kung medyo matigas po para sa inyo yung plastic, pwede po kayong gumamit. Pwede po kayong gumamit ng gunting. So importante po na hindi natin masisira yung root ball para po hindi matagalan yung ating halaman sa pag-recover doon sa lugar na paglilipatan po natin. So next step po, tagilid lang po natin. And then, so if hindi pa po siya sapat yung opening natin sa ating container o plastic bag, another here po. Okay? Then carefully hold the seedling. Okay? So mahalaga po na hindi natin masira yung root ball. Then it's ready na po. Yan. So ito na po yung itatanim po natin sa mga holes na identified na po. So meron po tayong iba't ibang butas ng halaman, depende po sa halaman na atin pong itatanim. So mahalaga po na hindi po natin masira talaga yung ating root ball. Dahil dito po nagkakaroon ng pag po nasira yung ating root ball, natatagalan po na makarecover yung ating halaman. So once na may place na po natin ito doon sa ating hole, so for example, nailagay na po natin sa hole. So doon po sa mga butas natin, meron na po kayo makikita na planting substrate sa may gilid ng mga butas. So i-place nyo lang po yung ating seedlings ng upright position. Siguraduhin nyo po na nasa center sila nung butas mismo. So wag po sa gilid at sigurado po natin na nakatayo. Tapos kunin po natin yung ating planting substrate na inihanda po doon sa may butas. Ilagay po natin sa hole. Una, ihuhulog po muna natin yung sa butas yung mga organic fertilizers sa ilalim po. And then, i-cover po natin ito ng lupa. So hanggang dito lang po. Hindi po kailangan na mas mataas pa po rito. So once na nagawa na po natin yon, i-press lang po natin ng kaunti para po mawala yung airspace. And next po, saka po natin didiligan po using hand sprinkler. So meron na po nasa area na po yung mga water sprinkler po natin. And water po natin ng slowly lang po. Huwag po nating bilisan yung pagdidilig po natin. So yun lang po. Maraming salamat po.
Well, thank you, sir, for that demo. Well, from here, would like to request our Assistant Chief of Staff for 𝐒𝐢𝐬𝐧𝐬 Headquarters and Carter Support Group, Lieutenant 𝐉𝐨𝐢𝐬 for the short briefing on the designated areas for the tree planting activity.
Good morning, sirs and ma'am. I'm Lieutenant Colonel 𝐺𝐕 I was tasked to give you a very short briefing on the designated tree planting area. As of now, we are here located at Bayanihan Hall. So we will proceed on the next slide, please. Next slide. So as shown, ma'am, the designated names and who will be planted on that area. Next. So yan po, sir, yung pupuntahan natin at will assisted by the designated ushers at support personnel. Next. 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 So meron po tayo, sir, na mga ushers and support personnel. Nandun na rin po, sir, yung gloves tsaka mga panggamit ng pang tools po, sir, ng pagtabon po doon sa lupa sa tanim po, sir. Meron na rin po, sir, as I mentioned a while ago, meron na po tayong watering, yung sprinkler, and meron po tayo, sir, designated washing area. Dito lang po, sir, sa baba ng hold down dito, sir, sa sir. We will guided by ushers po, sir. That's all. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Well, before we proceed with the fruit-bearing tree planting activity, may we invite our guests to visit the greenhouse located at the right side of this hall. We'd just like to make mention that the rehabilitation of the greenhouse would not be possible without the efforts and support of the Dilbros Group of Companies.
The door burning hot, leaving you right alone in your heart. Even the candles burning, but you're not in your held in light. I'm leaving my dreams. So I keep it shining everywhere I go. My soul, I'll be holding you forever. Stay with me together. You're my heart, you're my soul. You're my feeling all over the world. You're my heart, you're my soul. It's the only thing I really know. Someone chose me long ago that the count that on the stone.
All right, thank you, sirs. You may now proceed to your designated. All right, thank you very much, gentlemen and ladies. So we'd like to inform everyone that we have a question to say that
Army of 126, strong, united, and reliable. A strong army, integrating combined arms capabilities, defending the country with grit and willpower. Army 126.